Maud was born here in Lyon County, February 12th, 1877. They had moved to Kansas in 1869, coming straight to the Emporia area, about 10 miles west of Emporia. They called Emporia and the Emporia area in Lyon County their home. So they moved from Lyon County to Chase County in 1896. The family purchased a home. And by the way, Mom and Dad, I'm gonna join a traveling circus and become an aerialist and a contortionist. Surprise! Being a housewife or a farm wife just was not exactly what Maud had in mind for the rest of her life. She went traveling around the United States as part of this traveling circus. And then in 1904, it was the World's Fair in St. Louis. And I would say this is probably the one thing that changed the trajectory of her life. It really just had a major impact because it was at St. Louis Fair, World's Fair, that she met Gus Wagner, her future husband. Gus was there also as a performer, as kind of on that sideshow circuit as well. He billed himself as the most artistically marked up man in the world. So he was not only did he have tattoos, but he was also a tattoo artist. So at some point during the World's Fair, they met, and she was very intrigued by the tattoos, so much that she wanted to learn the art of tattoos. And he was very intrigued by her, and so they actually exchanged a date for a lesson in tattooing, and that was it. I mean, they started to be together, and they actually married October of that year. So I think they only met like in April of 1904, and they were married by October. They had this common interest. She wanted to be a tattoo artist. And not only that, but she also wanted the tattoos. So we now have this iconic photo of her, and I believe it's from 1907. And so within 3 years, she went from her very first tattoo, which is on her right arm, and it's dedicated to her father, David Van Buren Stevens, who was a Civil War veteran. And so if you look at the tattoo on her right arm, you can see an eagle, and I think it's D.V.B. Stevens. And that was her very first tattoo. And so within 3 years, she was pretty much covered from her neck down to her feet, from what I understand. And they traveled the world. Gus Wagner, he passed away in 1941, about a year after he was struck by lightning in Oklahoma. It really caused a lot of damage to his system, and so he ended up dying about a year later. Maud, she died in 1961, and she died at the home of her daughter in Lawton, Oklahoma. So by this time, they had moved away from Chase County. So that's pretty much it. That's the story of Maud Wagner. But her legacy lives on. I mean, it's a great story of this woman who was here in Lyon County and just knew she wanted to do something a little bit different than be a housewife.